going to check that. It won't allow me to look at it on here, but I can share it. Yeah, so hello, hello, hello. Hey everyone, how are you doing? This is Thursday evening. I've been up quite a while, so if I say it's Wednesday, forgive me and correct me at the same time. But we have our guest on today, the incredible Mr. Sean Richardson. I'm going to introduce him a few times for those that are coming on. I know that there is a slight delay, so let me see. No, we got some people on already. Hello, hello. Hey, Tamika. Hello, cousin. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Yes, we got some people on, back on. I'm going to share it on my page and do all of the electronical things that you do when you need it to. Oh my gosh. You got welcome to I see what you're doing. I see you on here. What is you over here doing? No, my husband is the cameraman today, and so he's back there helping us out in our life. You helping our life out, babe? You helping our life out? we just letting the folks know that you're here. Because some people need to know that.
Right.
It's just a need to know. Some people need to know. Um, Tune in. I'm typing that on my page now. I shared it. I pinned it. I can go on to the lounge. So today we've already had a live Thankful Thursday. I have not forgotten to send out the cash apps and gifts and stuff from earlier, but we are super grateful to have you on with us this evening. Forgive our schedule change, but I said it earlier and I'll say it again. Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. I heard that years ago, and I love that because you got to be flexible. Life happens. Life be life, and that's why the Bible tells us not to plan our day or say what we're going to do tomorrow because we don't know what's going to happen. You don't know. You don't know. It's not even promised. Well, you have reached Dee Dee. My name is Dee Dee Heckert on The Ladies Lounge, and I have a wonderful guest here with me, and we are going to talk this month or this talk about this month that we are recognizing, and I don't think it was always recognized, and maybe you can talk about that a little bit. But April is now known as Autism Awareness Month.
Correct.
And we don't always know what people don't always know what that means. What does it mean? What does it mean if you have autism, or what does it mean to even recognize people with autism? And I heard a video the other day. I should have sent this to you, Sean, before you came on, and then I want you to introduce yourself. But it was a mother that I know, and she was talking to her son about what does it mean to have autism. And it was the best reel, the best thing I've ever seen on the internet. He said, autism means you behave. Autism means you listen, you get good grades. Autism means you wash dishes. Autism means you do what your mama tell you to do. He basically was like, I am a person just like you. And I know that you're gonna kind of speak into that. I'm super excited to get into the conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have. I was gonna say I'm used to having got ladies on here. I was about to say the lovely Mr. Sean. We didn't say the lovely Mr. Sean Richardson. My husband. They're gonna hear you laughing and not me. Make sure you guys, please give me a thumbs up if you can hear us clearly. We got to make sure that we speak clearly into the mics that are a little distant for us. So if you cannot hear us, please let us know so that we can make some adjustments. But we have the incredible, talented Mr. Sean Richardson here to my left, maybe your right. Welcome. Welcome to the Ladies Lounge. I got to practice when it's syndicated. That's what somebody told me to practice for when we on TV.
All right.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about why you're here today, and just so we can get to know you.
Well, my name is Sean Richardson, everybody. Um, I am originally from uh, Los Angeles, California, more way of Long Beach, around that area. I've been out here for like I want to say like 27 years. I moved out here when I was 16. So I've been out here for a while.
Well, well, I'm not saying you old, but that's a long time.
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Um, I'll say that Vegas is Vegas has been a journey. So, but
yes,
God knew what He was doing when we moved here.
Yes. So you moved here at 16 with parents, no parents?
Parents, no parents.
With parents. Um, had you met your sweetheart yet?
No. We moved up here. Both my parents, my brother, and my sister.
Well, that's why you had to come to Vegas.
Yeah.
Because you had to meet your sweetheart.
Yeah.
That's why you had to come. That's why the Lord sent you this way. Jesus said, I must needs go to Samaria. he had to go through Samaria for a woman at the well. That was a purpose. So you must needs come through Sin City.
Hey.
Because you would have met your sweetheart if you hadn't came through Sin City.
Very true. Very true.
Listen, you get a preacher online, and we're going to preach. That's what we do. But yes. And so we are here. We're going to talk about someone that is very dear to you that I don't know when he was tested or when you guys were given the news that he had autism, but just kind of take it away and I'll ask questions maybe in between.
I want to say he was diagnosed at, I want to say 3 years old, like 2 or 3 years old. And we started noticing some delays and stuff, maybe around 2 years old. My sons are 11 months apart. And so my youngest son, Jaden, we saw that he was developing more than Jeremiah. Jeremiah's my oldest. But Jeremiah at one point couldn't talk. And so he was struggling to talk. And he was frustrated and things like that. And so since he couldn't talk, we had some real challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my wife went to take him and he got tested, and around around 2 or 3 years old, they told us that he was on the autism spectrum. At that time, we didn't even know what that was.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, had you heard of that? Were you guys, one thing that I'm really impressed by is how early you did it. There are parents, even still today in 2024, all of the advancements, everything that has been made on this subject, and they'll notice something's different and will not go and get tested because they don't want to hear the no or yes. You know what I mean? So that is commendable that you guys will go early, because I've heard many parents, early detection is best, but there are many parents that wait very, very late. There are adults that are just now finding out that this is what I could have gotten help. I'm different. It's not different isn't wrong. It's just different.
Yeah.
But something's different, and I could have had a better chance instead of everybody being frustrated with me. Yeah. So commendable. Kudos to you guys for going early.
I think it helped also because my wife is a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she noticed a lot of things. And so that's what helped. So after he got...
You might have to speak up just a little bit more. If you could speak out.
Oh, okay. After he got diagnosed, we had to just go through some challenges. We had to go to sometimes we had to go to classes to figure out what, because I think around that time autism was fairly new and nobody really knew what it was. And if you had it before any time, sometimes people will say that, they're bad kids because other people they don't understand their behaviors. But that's one of the things with kids with autism is most of them have behavior issues. they're not dumb. They're very smart.
Right.
Very,
Right.
very smart.
Right.
They have social issues where they're not, um, they don't catch certain things, and sometimes they're socially awkward
Okay.
that people don't get. And what people don't understand is that their brain is like working a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
And so they're always thinking about stuff. And so um, some of my son's funniest things, and um, he used to have trouble in school with some of his teachers. And so my son used to be a runner.
Okay. Yeah. I
And so
had some runners. I know some runners.
yeah, so what he would do when he was little was when he get frustrated or they didn't understand him, he would undress himself and run
Mm-hmm.
down the hallway. And so, you know, that was one of the things that we had to deal with. Um, and another one of those things that with kids on the spectrum is they don't eat everything. They eat certain foods.
Right. Right. Right.
So, like, I want to say for like up until maybe 10 years old, he ate nothing but chicken nuggets. That was it.
And that doesn't mean because there are parents, there are grandparents, there are parents watching now. That doesn't mean if your little ones are only eating one thing that he's saying go get them tested. Because we have grandbabies, and there are times, there are seasons where children only eat a certain thing, or they're picky eaters, or they are, I don't like that. We have I think one granddaughter that eats whatever is in front of her, and she's the youngest. She's the baby, but I always say she couldn't eat for 3 months when she was in the hospital, and something in her mind remembers that, and she said, "I'm gonna eat everything. I don't know when I'm gonna eat again, just in case somebody pull something. I'm gonna eat everything." Everybody else is very nitpicky, so he's not saying that if you are nitpicky. I got to clarify this because there have been people will run with anything on social media.
Of course.
They'll take a 3-second clip and say, if your kid only eat chicken nuggets, that means you need to take them to get tested. He didn't say that.
No, that was just his preference.
That was his preference.
No,
but I will say this, I've noticed with godchildren, family members, friends, that there's a lot of repetitive action that brings comfort, like a Linus security blanket. Do not change the routine or schedule because it can be detrimental to everybody that's around if you change that. So if you get a Big Mac versus chicken nuggets, you might not get to sleep. So chicken nuggets just worked in your household. And with all of the things with the Mickey D's stuff, he's alive and well. He looks good. And so he lived through the chicken nuggets.
Right. Yeah, you are right about the routine and stuff. They're so used to, my son was so used to routine, where, let's take for instance for school,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how tricky the school system is, and so you'll be with one teacher for a little while, and then they'll bring in a brand new teacher, and it's like starting all the way over.
Yeah.
But
I don't like that. Like, I like routine. I like, as human beings, we like to know what to expect. There is a population of us in humanity that like different every single day. There is a population. But for my teachers, I would not have wanted that because they're like parents. Many times in kindergarten, the kids call kindergarten teacher's mom because I'm building a relationship. I loved my math teacher, Mr. Barnett. I loved my math teacher. I mean, that was my homeboy. He was nerdy like me. He was my calculus teacher. If you brought a different teacher in that I didn't know how you taught this very delicate subject, I would have been, irritated too. But I noticed that it is very different. I have a godson that is on the spectrum, and when things change, it's a whole thing. And so something as important, as a teacher, that's like a parental structure. And in some classes, the kids are changing all the time because the school system is not fully staffed.
Yep.
I shouldn't say stock. Somebody gonna get me for that, huh, babe? They gonna get me for that. I got management behind the camera. Am I gonna get in trouble for saying the school district is stock like they
No,
like they people on the shelf?
No.
Anyway, they not fully staffed. Y'all know we joke here. They're not fully staffed, and so things change often, and that could throw you in, you know, in a little, not a little, but it could do some damage when you have other expectations.
Yeah, and so we'll be, talking about autism throughout the month. My wife is going to be going, talking about our journey with him as well. I think she's talking about bringing him on the live too, probably at the end of the month, just to see how everything is going. But like this journey, this has been I'll say a trying journey.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding.
Yes.
Just to see, just to witness everything, just to see how much he's come so far. Like, if y'all understood.
Say that loud for the people in the back.
If y'all really understood what it really took.
Yeah.
And some people, it takes sacrifice. It takes a real sacrifice.
Yes.
It took me at times not being able to work full time because my son needed me where he was at.
Okay.
With different teachers and things like that. He just needed, I believe he just needed me to be present.
Yeah, I hear that. I really, really want to hone in on that. He said it took sacrifices and he could not work full time all the time because his son needed him to be present. I think that is so huge in when we are talking about children that have different needs, because it's not all the time special needs. I think if you say special needs, that puts you in one category over here. But in different times of parenting, my kids that were not tested on the spectrum, there were times that because they had different needs at different seasons, they needed somebody to be there and be present. And when we are not, when we take that away, sometimes we put advancement in careers, money, we put retirement above human beings that are only with us for a few short years. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things, kids are kids for a little bit of time. Yeah. And so please continue. That was actually one of my next questions. How did you feel going through there? Were there ever times that you were discouraged, disappointed, even depressed, or question God? You're a man of faith. Did you question God, why me? But I really wanted to hone in on that. It is okay to put careers back and put advancement back and do what is necessary in the moment for your children, for your family, because there is a great return on that investment, even though it doesn't feel like it in the moment.
There was a lot of frustration. There was a lot of questioning God. There was a lot of blame on myself. I felt like my son was the way he was because it was somehow my fault.
Yes. Can you guys hear us okay? Please, some thumbs up, hearts. Like Sean said, he thought maybe his son was like that because it was your fault. Did you ever blame God? And this ain't popular. Sometimes we can't say the real thing, but we like to keep it. You've been watching the Ladies Lounge for a while, and we like to keep it 100, a buck, whatever you say about whatever your terminology is. He said sometimes he blamed God, right? Sometimes, did you say that?
Or did I question God.
You question God, and there are times with mine, I blamed him. Like, you made him like this. This dude like this because of you. I didn't even ask for him. You decided that he would be here, but whether it is a different need or a hard situation, sometimes because the old saints looked at questioning like blaming. So I'm sorry, I put a word in his mouth. He didn't say he blamed. He said he questioned. I said I blamed. There are times that I blamed, um, and I'm good, in good company because people, the first man that he made, the one that didn't have no mama and daddy. I got to give context to when I say stuff because people be like, "Oh Lord, I thought she didn't blame." Adam blamed. He said it's the woman you gave me, and he didn't have a mama or a daddy or no cousins that was bad influences. He only walked in the garden with the Father. The only person he knew was the creator of the universe. And when it was time, when stuff went left and the bottom fell out and things were hard, you know what he said? He blamed. Well, it's the woman you gave me. I didn't even ask for it.
Right.
I was right here naming animals and you said it wasn't good. That's basically what Adam was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are times that we question God, and they looked at it as a curse word. But in relationship, we have your kids should be able to come to you and ask questions when they don't understand. And sometimes in relationships, they blame.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a relationship, but if we have true relationship, it does not change who you are to them.
No.
If they do a DNA test, even if they question, blame, they could curse you out and say, you ain't my daddy no more. If you do a DNA test, you're still their father. And so I love that you said sometimes you question him because it did not change that you were his. Does not change. You question God does not take the fact away that I still belong to him. I'm just wondering what's going on.
Yeah. It was just really difficult. And so I think just the determination was just because he was my son. And that's what he needed. Was it really trying? Yeah. It tested every part of my life. Even because we had to pay so much attention and make sure he got what he needed. I think my youngest son got lost in the mix somewhere.
Talk about it, Sharon. Talk about that. There are parents on now that are feeling guilty and not knowing how to balance. So are you saying at times you did not balance it well?
At times, and my youngest son is so gracious and he loves his brother so much that at times it didn't bother him. And so we have, over the years, just tried to pour back into my youngest son as well. Because we know that with kids that have multiple siblings that somebody gets lost in the shuffle. And sometimes they feel that they're forgotten and you're not paying attention to me. But my youngest son has, been his protector, his best friend, and it's taught him a lot too as well with other kids because now I don't know what they're doing or they're testing so many kids that so many kids are on the spectrum now. And so it's taught him how to recognize some things. He can help his brother when he's having anxiety or because my kids don't fight. They get along very well. They don't fight that much, hardly if ever.
That's a blessing.
But like my son has been my youngest son has been such a help with him that it's
so many times, we talk about birth order, um, and I typically can pick out a middle child if I have 3 seconds of conversation with them. I can pick out an oldest, youngest. I've studied birth order for a while. But what I think is unique a lot of the times when you have children so close in age, I have a really, really close friend of mine. Her boys are like a year apart. And sometimes that younger sibling is like the older one. Yep. So the birth order will switch and they will become the protector or they resent them. It's like one or the other.
Right.
It's I feel older, I'm doing more, but I resent that I didn't get the attention, or I am now the older child, and they assume a different birth order. And I've learned that sometimes that can be a crutch for children that have the capability to do everything. Because, like you said, children on the spectrum are highly intelligent. Brains are going up all the time, and are, in my opinion, I know that IQs often are higher than the majority. You know, if you test them in different areas, they far surpass their peers. But there are times that because they've been coddled, or parents have said, you can't do this, or older brothers or sisters, you can't do this, it has been also a crutch when they could have done all of the things. And my best friend, her son, that it was a very difficult time when he was portraying things, and she was like, what is wrong? She had no idea, because what is this? I don't know what's going on. But when she had him tested and found out that it was, I believe he was Asperger's, and he wasn't communicating initially, and all of this stuff that you go through, I remember telling her, I was like, God is going to use him in such a way. He is the purest form of a child. One of the things that I notice every time I've had any communication with Jeremiah is he's just sweet. He's very, he says hi. He's communicating. He's very, very pure. The children often that are not, I told her with our kids, because we have 7 boys total between the 2 of us. And I said, he is the sweetest one. Everybody else be getting on my nerves. I don't even want to talk to nobody else. And he's the only one out of all 7 that has his bachelor's degree. He's the only one out of all 7 that went to college by himself in another state, stayed by himself, the only one out of all of the kids.
Wow.
Out of all of the ones that talked early, out of all of the ones that performed early, out of all of the ones that did all of the things very well, and it looked like they were so much further than him. He was the only one that now has a bachelor's degree and finished his degree. He also is the only one, and this is kind of funny for the parents online, that we had a situation at their house, and I believe either he came in or my daughter, no, it was him. He came in. He said the boys outside peeing in the backyard. All of the kids, he was the only one that had sense enough to not pee where some neighbors could see in the backyard. He was like, what is y'all doing? And it was so funny. I thought it was the funniest thing. And it was they were all of them were very young at that time, but it was like a foreshadow of what was to come. He was going to lead the pack in a lot of things. And I told her, I said, you are going to see the hand of God move so on his life. Like he is, and one of the things I consistently say, when he does something wrong, he repents quickly. It's like the purest form of a child, and I never, I would not have known that had I not had a friend and had a view up close and personal that I cherished. Because some of the things that we dealt with attitudes and, neck rolls and stank on it and all the stuff that we don't like when we didn't have to deal with that with him. And she didn't have those issues. I was like, honey, that's a blessing. We gotta find a reason to thank God in all of the things. No, it did not go how you thought it would when you found out you were pregnant, but it turned out much better, much, much better.
Yeah, I think with one of the most important keys, I'll say this, is dealing with I won't say dealing, having a child on the spectrum. You definitely need a support system. That is one of the most important factors. You have to have an important support system. So when he was born, my wife was ill after she had both of my children. So she was ill, and at the time, I was the main drummer at my church, and so here I have 2 children, and
11? Did you say 11 months
11
apart?
months apart.
So they what kind of twins are those called? Irish twins.
So,
You have some Irish twins. I just learned that term, so I feel good about it. I'm 47 and I just learned the term. So you have some Irish twins, 11 months apart. One's on the spectrum, but you guys don't know it at this point.
yeah, and so I'm at church with two babies, also playing drums. So when this was in 2006 when I went to New Antioch, came to New Antioch, and I got both kids, and I'm trying to figure out how's this gonna work because um, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to do this with two kids sitting here and I'm playing drums.
Because your wife is at home ill.
Right.
Okay, I didn't put that together. You didn't leave them at home with your wife. You brought the babies to church, like a 4-month-old and one 15-month-old. I tried to do the math real quick. The 4-month-old and 15-month-old, you had them at church
Mm-hmm.
with bottles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. Okay, I'm listening. I'm following.
And so it was the church who actually helped me out. I remember the first time that I had both kids and I brought them and I set them on the, because this was my routine. So when I would pull up to the church and the door was right there, so I pull up, stop the car, take the keys out the ignition, go out, grab both babies, bring them in the church, set them in the front, go back outside, park my car, grab my drum equipment, bring my drum equipment inside the church. But by the time I got inside the church, somebody already had the babies.
Because the church community actually did what a church community is supposed to do, and they became the hands and feet.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were family.
I wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
That's good. That's good. That's really, really, really good. That was going to be a question of mine, but you already answered that. Like how can we help in church? There are times where I don't know how children's church was for you, if that was a thing even then. Children's church, I know we had Sunday school. We was little, and then the kids just sat in service with the parents when we were younger. But how was children's church? Was that something that you felt comfortable or safe? Do you feel like today, and it's a loaded question, today that you need people to be trained, how could we better serve children on the spectrum in children's church? And how was that for you when you had a son that needed extra attention?
So when we were there, there was a part where they had, that they had a part for little kids who were even not walking or anything like that. So I didn't really have him in children's church until he could like walk and when he started talking and stuff like that. But like some of the older mothers, we had a choir and like one of the mothers and like one of the older ladies who I see as aunties now, they took him for me.
Mm-hmm.
They were when I put them down, I was like, "Give me these babies," and they came and got them and fed them. And when they, when he, they had to be changed, they changed them, did everything that was necessary. Like those were my babysitters.
Yeah.
While I was ministering on the drums, and it made it so much easier. But like even a support system outside of church is good. Like they got godparents, they got grandmas, grannies, and grandpas and papas, and it takes everybody. It literally takes everybody.
You needed your community.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of this. What if you had to stop playing the drums? The drums, you think you're ministering to the people that may have even ministered to you to still be able to provide, a service for your church and feel a part. That may have been an outlet for you. Do you think that that kept you sane through some of it? You still got to participate with everybody.
It wasn't like that for me because I tell you what, the product that I see now is that I'm glad that I brought my kids to church because now they know who God is for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, I provided service, and but um, it came full circle. Now my kids are ministering. Um,
No, I meant like you were able to still serve. Oh, you're saying the sacrifice, and I was saying like even with the sacrifice, do you feel like being able to still give helped you when it was hard?
I
When it
mean,
was hard for them?
drums are my outlet anyway.
Yeah,
Um, Even at home, I had a drum set at home, so
and you
um,
just get on there,
mhm.
just making noise in the house.
Yeah. What's funny is it didn't really bother the kids. Like my kids, if I'm practicing, my kids will.
Oh, they probably heard it in the womb though. I was thinking about the mothers grabbing them babies. Sometimes our granddaughters at church with us, and we got the new school mothers. They ain't all the
Oh.
way. They ain't all the way, seasoned yet. But
Mhm.
um, sometimes even being able to provide that service to you was an outlet for them. We've learned as we've counseled people and growing up that a lot of people were having a lot of stuff going on at home. And so to be able to come and relieve a father that is struggling with a sick wife, that has two babies 11 months apart, they got something out of that too. It was like, give me them babies.
Mhm.
That was a relief for them. And they loved doing it.
Yeah.
It was never I know that they never made you feel like I got to. It was I get to help. And they probably was on the phone with their homegirls. This is my grandmama. My grandma be on the phone. I had that baby yesterday. Yeah, just fed him real good. Ooh, he a good eater. You just be talking about what the kids did. So they enjoyed helping you, though it was like life saving for you. It was giving them joy just to be able to do it. So
And
that's how a family community would work.
and it also allowed me to just start building relationships
That's good.
because these were the people who were taking care of my children. So okay, so yeah, so now I know them very well. They still, when they see my kids, they can't believe it. It's like, I remember when you was just a baby.
Yeah. And I was holding them and helping. And now they grown. Them big old boys now. They grown. They grow. I mean, they might not be grown in whatever standards, but they the same size as the men that I know.
Yeah.
And your youngest son is bigger than you.
Right.
Yeah, he grown. Um, he's a sweetheart though. They were very very polite and just sweethearts. And so I have a question, kind of just shifting a little bit, going from church because our life is not just one sided,
Right.
full spectrum. What happened? How did he progress through school? And how was school after elementary?
I'm glad you asked me this question.
After elementary, middle school stuff. Was it public school? Did he have to deal with all of the things? How did that work?
So when he was in school, in early school, um, and I have to give kudos to my wife because um, she's the intelligent parent that when you have somebody that's a teacher that knows all of the stuff. I mean, it makes it easy, but easier, I'll say. But his journey through school was um, challenging because, you know, like we were talking about earlier, when the school system is not properly staffed, you have teachers that come in and um, who are here for a minute and it's gone the next. And so I do want to give a good shout out to this is the teacher that I believe that if it was not for her, that my son would have never been able to talk. And that is LaVonna Lewis.
I know LaVonna Lewis. Wow.
She was his, I want to say, I don't know if it was kindergarten or first grade teacher. And that's how I met her. And she taught him how to talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
She just said, "I'm gonna work with him because I know you can."
She worked with him, and
she still work for the school district. She didn't work for the school district anymore.
No, not anymore.
So I can say this. I'm just making sure. She probably prayed for him too.
Yeah, she did. She did.
She probably took her assignment and was like, "Baby, you going far." She probably was prophesying over him and praying for him. Can't say that if she was still working for the school district because I don't know. But I'm sure that she also prayed for him.
And one of the one of the things is that I made sure that like I was present, but I didn't have to worry about whether she could handle my son or not.
Because she loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to worry when you know there's a foundation of love. And she had already proven that she had the patience for him. And that makes it that makes it.
And all she would do was give me a call. If he was doing something he had no business, she'd just give me a call. And she's like, I got your dad on the phone. And she'll put me on speakerphone. And I'm like, what's going on? And he'll just, or if I show up to the school and do something, I wouldn't even have to, I'll just stand there and he knows what to do. Like she taught him, if it, like, I promise you. If it wasn't for this lady, LaVonna Lewis.
She gonna get this here memo. She gonna get this here
memo. If it wasn't
memo.
for her, like I don't think he would be as far as he is today.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I wanna hone in on this before you move on to how he progressed through school. But you said if you showed up or called, many times if parents get a diagnosis of my baby is on the spectrum, they take it as, oh my gosh, we're doomed. We're done. My baby won't be able to understand. What does that mean for me? I'm just going to have an issue. It's a life sentence almost.
Yeah.
No,
it's not.
He was trained enough to know my daddy's voice still had weight.
Mm-hmm.
His daddy's voice trumped what many call a disability.
Yep.
Now that's that. Now, Sean, I'm not gonna use you in a message, but listen.
He knew when I was in the building.
You see, we got room. We moved the couches out the way. I got room to run up in here today. I might go back to my roots today, cause there are so many times where people say they're just like this or I'm just like this, as an adult who ain't on the spectrum.
Right.
And I just get to be like this. I get to act a fool. I get to do what I want to do. I get to pop my neck and have an attitude. This is just the way I am. When your son didn't just say this is just the way he was, he changed when he heard his father's voice. Mm-hmm. And we, as grown people, full of the Holy Ghost, supposedly, I'm saying that supposedly, we can't respond to our father's voice. Somebody is lying. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. What happened? How was middle school? Somebody lying.
Right.
People is lying. Right. If we can't respond to our father's voice.
You knew you heard him the first time.
You knew you heard him the first time. I'm a sister. How was middle school?
That's a word right there.
Because somebody lying. Yeah. The gig is up.
Because then he's saying, you heard me.
You heard me. The son that you weren't sure would be able to speak, that they told you these are the potentials, mm-hmm. responded to his father's voice or presence. That is powerful, and I'm a pray that I don't be saying y'all stop lying.
Yeah, because the thing about it is that he knew my voice, but he also knew he knew I was gonna be there.
Yeah, he could count on you.
Yes, he knew I was gonna be there, and that's one thing.
The cameraman want to shout, and he got a word behind the camera. He want to take off running. I feel it. I feel it. I'm looking right at you. You've been over here about ready to just fall out, because that's a good word. He knew your voice, he knew your presence, and he knew that he could count on you. And we be up in here, saved for 50 years, talking about, oh, Father, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, is you going to do it? I know you did it for me last month, but I don't believe about this month. You don't count. Your son counts on you.
Yes.
Because he knows that you're consistent.
Mm-hmm.
He knows your character.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that you're going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And we be looking, we don't act like this with the Father.
No, we don't.
Oh, that's
because we choose to.
I'm sorry. What had happened? What had happened was we are talking to, let me bring the people in because we've had people in and out. We are talking to the fabulous Mr. Sean Richardson, anointed and appointed for such a time as this. You are anointed to be Jeremiah's father. Many people look at calling and anointing like there are assignments and callings that have nothing to do with church.
Right.
That have nothing to do with a pulpit or fivefold ministry. You have the oil for your son. God made sure of that. Everybody couldn't do that. Everybody couldn't be his father. Everybody wouldn't be selfless and be available and put work on the back burner to be there at a school, to know who his teachers were. There are dads that don't even know who the kids teach. You don't know who teaching your kids, and you knew that. And so that is a just an amazing journey for you. But I really, because we want to get to, there's some other stuff coming.
So middle school.
But middle school, how was that, and how was your wife through it all once she was better and felt, how was she through it all too? Or maybe you're gonna leave her to tell her story.
I'll leave her to tell her story.
Okay.
But she did get with it after she got well. But middle school was a little bit more challenging because now, at the time, he knew he was different, and so one of the things, like in the elementary school towards middle school is when my son started getting into music. He didn't get into music because of me. My wife would sit him down. My wife did nothing but like teach him educational shows. So like the first show he was watching was Little Einsteins.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I was gonna sing a song, but I'm gonna behave. I'm gonna behave.
So
Okay.
Little Einsteins. What was the other one? I think it was Doodle Bops. I think it was my favorite. I ain't gonna say it was his. It was Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh yeah, I remember Yo Gabba.
That was my favorite one. And there was a couple of other more. I think Dory and a couple other ones that had to do with music. And when he was watching Little Einsteins, like maybe a year later, he expressed he wanted to start playing the violin.
Okay.
And so he got into the violin during middle school and was taking orchestra and things like that. The crazy thing is that he learned how to read music very quickly. Like it was instant. And so he could look at a sheet music.
We're envious of him right now.
he could look at a sheet music and tell what note it was what.
Wow.
And it's crazy. And of course, now he's on chamber orchestra, first chair.
Wow.
Playing the violin.
That's all I was gonna ask you. Is he still playing the violin? He is. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So did you experience did he experience a lot of bullying?
Yes.
In middle school?
We did. In middle school.
Elementary as well, or
not really elementary, not so much elementary, but middle school. My son was at Von Tobel. Mm-hmm. And this one instance where for some odd reason, so in his IEP, we specifically put that he was not to have any like physical education or anything like that because he's not a sports person or anything like that. He doesn't like it. And so we told him not to put him in PE, but for some reason they put my son in a PE class. And so him and another student in his classroom, another kid on the spectrum, was in a PE class. Now, why would they do that? I'm not sure. Really retarded. And so he witnessed bullying to, it was like 5 or 6 kids that decided they wanted to bully my son and the other kid. And, how kids are.
And adults, because it make you want to beat the brakes off
right.
people's
So,
kids.
They had took his shoe and was throwing it back and forth. And then they were messing with his classmate.
Here, come back in this way.
And so he was, and so that he was protecting his classmate. And so, we got whiff of it and soon as Mama Bear got whiff of it,
Yeah.
and I believe that was his only um, bullying incident in middle school. Middle school did a lot for him because it gave him a different view of other people and how other people are and things like that. Still had some good teachers, but just
Kind of gave him a real view of the real world.
Yeah.
Almost.
about what
Yeah.
is
What
starting to
people are
happen.
capable of.
Yeah.
I have a friend that he made it to high school, but he was on the spectrum and he was being bullied consistently. Like it was nonstop. And he ended up, you know, taking his life as a result of the bullying. And so when you know, she is always like, please be aware of what your children are going through, especially when they have some special needs or
Mhm.
they are not able to fully speak for themselves. If they are coming to you, then it is real bad because generally they're not coming the first time or the second time. And so I always am grateful. I look at things a lot different now when you have children, especially what our kids are dealing with, period.
Yeah, nowadays.
When you have children that make it to graduation, that make it to the milestones, you know, oh, you got a 20-year-old, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You got a 21-year-old, that's a big deal. You got somebody that made it a quarter of a century, that's a big deal. And it's to be celebrated because we don't always see the triumphs after, especially children have been bullied and have gone through, and they're already like, why am I different?
Right.
You know. And so now, how old is Jeremiah?
He's 17.
17 years old. 17 years old. He went up in there and made him a bowl of cereal.
Right.
He was right at home. He got him a bowl out the cabinet. Mm-hmm. He said, I like Rice Krispies. He got his Rice Krispies, and he was cool. Mm-hmm. He was straight. Very, very handsome young man. And you have some hope to give to parents that are dealing with challenges of any magnitude, that you know, you're on the other side of some of the heartaches and pains of parenting.
Yes.
In the beginning.
Not
finished because you never stop parenting.
No, never.
Not finished.
There are, I think, a couple of key things. First of all, they need to know that you're there. They need to know that they're supported. They need to know that they're loved. And you need a strong support system around them. So what I mean by strong support system, I mean that I always tell, we set a village around us.
So that was intentional or accidental?
Intentional.
Intentional.
Me and my wife talked about it, and we wanted people, and I know God's hand was all in this. We wanted people that we always say that if something happens to us, we want people who are going to take care of you and treat you like we were still here. Mm. And so we have a specific village. Some of those people are Pastor Mariah Richardson, who's a youth pastor at my church.
Dope person. He's a dope person. Can I say dope? Can I say, is that okay to say? My grandbaby said one day, I was like, oh, that's dope. She was like, Sugar, I don't think you can say dope. I'm like, I absolutely can. Right. Yeah, they're dope people. I really like
him and his wife, Chantel. Another one is Keith Calhoun Jr.
Yes.
Him and his wife, Amber.
Yeah. Another outstanding couple.
She was the reason why we took Jeremiah and my son over to Cimarron. She was the reason why we sent them over there.
I think you got to lean back in this way a little bit.
Another one is, his name is Mark Abernathy. Mm-hmm. He's another solid guy who loves my children.
That's important.
Loves my children. We also have another guy who's like their uncle. This is James Mays.
Yeah.
Him and his wife.
Yes.
Yes, very involved in their lives. And like I said, with all these people that I'm naming right now, would be able to take care of my children the way I would want my kids to be raised.
That is phenomenal.
And there's family members and aunties and stuff like that. But if there were none, these people I would trust with my children. I trust them with my children. So when I send them with my children, wherever, whether it be at church or they pick them up, I'm good because I know they're gonna take care of my kids.
You know that they got them.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. I don't even have to ask.
That's fantastic. Every parent doesn't have that assurance.
Right.
So you guys were, that's real wealth. So many people are chasing a bag and they don't have this. That's the bag. To be able to know that if I left this earth, my son that has some extra needs would be safe. That's the bag.
Yeah.
You can't pay for that.
I ain't even worried about it.
Yeah, you cannot pay for that.
And so there for those parents that's out there that's having struggles, of course they need, if they're having problems with talking a little bit, speech therapy, having their own therapist. My son has his own therapist now. He uh, makes his own appointments with her, and everything that he's done. Like, I know it's been nothing but God, because God has done so much over the years, to where that he's about to be off to college. You know what I mean?
Say it again for the people in the back.
He's about to be off to college, and God,
like going to another state.
Going to a whole nother state.
Tell the story.
He's going to a whole nother state, and it's funny. God has just done so much. He's actually going to Grand Canyon University, and so how this came about was they visited Cimarron and met the students and were talking about who wanted to go to college. And
That's
so
really
maybe a few months later, last year, they had a college fair. So the college fair was at the World Marketplace. They had a college fair. So my wife and my son are going into the college fair, and they run into the same guy. The guy looks at my son. This is what my wife told me. Said that the guy remembered my son. He remembered
from
school.
Okay.
He remembered him.
It's a setup. I see the Holy
Right,
setup.
right. You see
I see the alley oop. I see him throw a oop right there.
And so the guy tells him to apply. And so my wife does all the college. She's done all the college applications and everything like that. So he applied. They accepted him. And so when a kid goes to college, the most thing that everybody worries about is the finances.
Mm-hmm.
Are they gonna be able to go all 4 years, or how many years that they're going for their major and everything like that? And so my wife is still doing things and helping them fill out FAFSA applications, and so doing that, they're filling out scholarship applications and stuff like that, and he's gotten quite a few scholarships. Because mind you, 9 colleges have wanted my son. And I'm not just talking about regular colleges.
Like enough.
We talking about like Oregon State.
Just take off running. You can take off running anytime. If we have to run, we get to run in here.
We talking about Oregon State. We talking about Utah. We talking about some other big name schools that want my son. My son has a 3.8 GPA. Like, he almost had, 3.8 GPA.
We might as well just
and
say
so out of the entire school, my son at one point was in the 10% of the entire school.
Mm-hmm. The baby that you were saying, we don't know if he gonna talk. Okay.
Bad baby.
All right. He's priming it up. We just need a little organ. You got your piano over there. You got your piano over there. Because this is ignorant.
So everything is coming along. He has the scholarships. He just got a scholarship from ACS just a little while ago. And so my wife is telling me all of this stuff, but his FAFSA, so that's the money for college for a grant and stuff like that. Mind you, my son has not needed to take out a loan for college.
Not one
loan. So
you're saying he's the lender and not the borrower.
Right.
That's what he that's what he is.
So,
okay. All right.
Here's what's happening.
I'm just checking. I'm just testing.
So listen, Dave. So his first
Dave ain't supposed to be in.
His first.
Listen, Dave.
So
cameraman, you in on here, you can talk now.
So I believe the first one he got, the first grant he got was for like $7,000, right?
That's not a little bit of money.
So the lady who's his counselor, I want to say, put his information in. Somehow, I don't know, somehow it got doubled. It went from 7 to 14.
He want me to run on the line. He want me to get up out of here.
Wait, hold on. I'm not done. I'm not done. So it went to that. So I want the people just to know that.
Our friend says, listen unto me. Listen unto me.
I want people just to know that this is all God. This ain't none of us. This ain't the parents.
Did you say somehow we got doubled? I'm a numbers person. That's 14,000. But keep going.
So after it gets doubled. So I think maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, we're checking emails and stuff like that.
I have to do this.
And so his counselor tells us, she writes on the email that not only is this stuff happening, so every scholarship he's had, every grant that he's gotten is good, but so because you got meal plans, you got apartments or dorms, tuition, all that stuff. So the grants and stuff have covered just about all of his stuff. But anything else that the grants and the scholarships have not covered, the school is paying for the rest of it.
Yeah, lean back in over here so the people come in.
The school, so zero.
It's a nugget. We have the cameraman interrupted. It's a nugget.
So my son, who went after he was born and after he was diagnosed with this, us as parents not really knowing what
was next.
What was next. Now this is the same boy who is going to a major college with a full ride.
Well,
I
think full ride is because he probably gonna have some extra money in his pocket.
Oh yeah, when the other scholarships come through,
yeah, he'll have. So that's what's that? What kind of ride is that? That's with some extras.
That's overflow.
That's the overflow. That's the overflow. The other thing I wanted to point out, me and Sean have been talking about him coming on the Ladies Lounge for a long time, and God's timing is so. This is why we can't get mad when stuff don't go the way you think it should go. I think November, maybe we've been talking about for years, but November we're messaging to see when would be a good time. Then I had eye surgery, and y'all know I was on the lounge with my eye leaking. I looked at one of them old videos. I wasn't supposed to be on here with my eye just...
Right.
I'm wiping the eye the whole...
I remember watching it.
But even when it was supposed to happen in March, January, February, and March, it wasn't supposed to. It had to be during Autism Awareness Month. It had to be a month before graduation. He hadn't got no scholarships yet. It had to be after the scholarships. It had to be after all of that because was it a testimony before? Absolutely. But my friends say, you see how the Lord threw that oop?
Mm-hmm.
Not just the oop, it's dunked all the way in. Like, that's ridiculous. People don't have this story. They don't have this hope. And so if you had come on in November, you would have still been talking about we'll see about college.
Yeah.
The extra loans didn't come in. The extra stuff hadn't come in yet. Somehow it's double hadn't come in yet. The nugget wasn't up there.
No.
That his financial responsibility is settled. that hadn't come in yet. And so it is amazing, I think, even when it was able to work out. And part of the issue, which is funny now because it don't look clean now, I was like, I ain't even straight in the room. We can't have Sean in here and it look like a storage bin. What are we doing? And and we in here anyway, but it had to be today. It could not be the months before, and I'm grateful for even the timing that we're not even smart enough to do.
Right.
We couldn't have set it up like this. You didn't say, Dee, let me see if I can come on in April because it's autism. That didn't happen like that. When I told David once you had posted the scholarship, you just posted it, I think the end of March, maybe. I said, babe, for real? I said, this is the timing? That was God. His timing is ridiculous. It's better than anything that we could ever hope for, ask for, attempt, imagine, all of the things. I pray that you guys have been encouraged. I have been encouraged from his story, and he has so much more. There is so much more. You guys are going live on your pages. How can they get in touch with you?
You can just find me on Facebook. Just type in Sean Richardson and you can find me on Facebook.
There's some other Sean Richardsons. What they like? It's just one. You the original? You're the only one?
I must be. I'm the only one.
All right.
I'll be doing live maybe about in a week, but my wife is. She'll be going live. Her name is Lemia Richardson. So you can look her up. She'll be going live, telling you about her journey as the mother of a son with special needs. And what her journey was like and how she felt and things like that, because there are some mothers out there who are really struggling with their children who are on the spectrum or have special needs. And so I think it's going to be really good for women to hear about that. But I know there are men out there as well who are struggling and don't know what to do.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get her back here too if she's available, willing, and able. We would love to have her back on too. Both of you guys, we got to have our studio audience editor set us up so we can accommodate multiple people. But I think he can get that done.
And I think at the end of the month, we're gonna do one together with Jeremiah.
That's dope. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna
so
share it.
Definitely, you can hear from his own mouth about. And listen, one of the things you have to notice about kids on the spectrum is that there is no filter.
I was gonna say it's zero filter
At all.
They say what they mean and mean what they say.
Exactly.
There's no gray area with them. It's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And they either like you or don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, you weird. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
They read people, in my opinion, very well.
They do read very well. But it's great because it's genuine.
Yeah. I told Jeremiah when he came in, I said, y'all excuse the kitchen, and he said, it's okay. He went and got his bowl.
Right. He don't even.
He was like,
it don't even matter.
I ain't even looking at all of this.
Right.
Like, you might see all of this. I'm hungry. Give me some Rice Krispies.
It don't even matter.
Yes. He felt right at home, so that made me feel good. He didn't feel like he, had to back up. Deacon never does that. Y'all have a little Yorkie that is he talks all day. That's what I say. He bark all day long. And when people are in here that don't live, even when people are in here that live here, if it ain't me or David, he is barking at them all day. He's barking all day. Bryce, why are you still? He's doing it all day long. he stopped with your boys.
Yeah, I noticed
Jeremiah
that.
went and talked to him, said something to him. They're walking all around him, and he didn't say anything. He was done. That never happens. Everybody, you can ask my children, they're all like, maybe it's because we're all like, Deacon, shut up. And Jeremiah didn't say that. He just loved on them. And love changes it. That's, you will find a message out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he just loved on them, and he was like, oh, this dude cool. So I'm good. But yeah, so Lamia, Lamia
Mm-hmm.
Richardson, they'll be going live from their personal pages. Sean Richardson, thank you for your vulnerability and authenticity. I know that it has blessed many, many people, and there will be people that will come back and watch the replay. And I pray that listen to it from a father's perspective. His heart was, your world is turned upside down because when you are expecting a child, you expect perfection. We expect maybe a little issue in our teenage years, from an attitude, but you don't have the expectation of my child will have, a special needs, or my child will be on the spectrum, because I don't even know what that is.
Right.
I was saying in an interview that I did the other day, you don't bring the baby home and say, oh, hi, little Charlie, how are you? One day you're going to be, wanted for murder, whatever. All of the things. There are so many things people deal with their kids, and you have no idea when you accept being a parent what you're going to deal with. There will be challenges from one extreme to the other.
Yep.
But you have found the joy and the balance, and God got the glory at the end. Is getting the glory. He's not done getting the glory in the story, and I'm grateful. I didn't do that on purpose, but I am a rapper. I didn't try to. He will get the glory in the story. He's still getting it. I'm gonna do what I do. And he's trying to tell me to cut. He's like, cut. 5, 4. Anyway, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this. I would say ending. It's not an ending. It's really his beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But his ending, the ending to the time that he's in your home. Everybody doesn't get this ending.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have this hope. Even if they paying, $2,000. You ain't paying. You ain't got to do that. You get to say, family, godparents, whomever. Jeremiah needs some bedding. You know what I mean? You get to do the basics. You don't have to worry about the heavy stuff with school. Praying him through. Of course, he's already been in school, and so he knows how to get his work done. He knows how to be laser focused on that. One of the things I will say that I've noticed with children on the spectrum, it feels like you have to worry about them a little less in college than some of the other kids that know it's party time, kick it, let me act a fool. They like, I have to do my work.
Yep.
And I got to get it done. You get to go to the party, but my stuff ain't done, and I'm going to get it done. And so I love the laser focus. I too did not know what it meant to be on the spectrum when my friend's son was diagnosed, and then we had godchildren and others that have been diagnosed since. And what I've come to love is the ability to laser focus and break away from the foolishness of all the other kids.
Yeah.
They don't get themselves involved in a whole bunch of stuff. You don't find them in a bunch of foolishness. They know how to exit stage left very quickly. And I love that. You don't have to do the extra mess management. Are there challenges? Are there things that you wish could be different? Yes, maybe. But you didn't know that this would be the outcome when you went through those challenges all those years ago.
Yeah, and I know that he's going to, my son's into animals. And so any kind of species of animals that you talk about, he'll probably give you the whole history. And that's how detailed it is. He loves God. He loves school. He loves his family. And so that is one of the greatest joys that he has brought us. Like I ain't never had to worry about him being involved with the police negatively, um, and God has just taken care of my children. Just nothing has really happened to my children, and I,
It's a blessing.
I bless God for every day that my kids are here with us, and so I know they're going to be. I know they're going to be great adults. You know what I mean? But my son, he gonna cure something.
Yes, he is. He is. He's gonna cure something. Probably a lot of some things.
Right.
A lot of some things, but I'm grateful for you opening up your life to the lounge. We are super super thankful for Mr. Richardson being on. This is a different aspect that me and my husband get to see him in. We normally see Sean behind drums or beating a pad. He'd be on a drum pad somewhere or just playing, just in the background, being the hands and feet and helping people. But I'm really, really grateful. I learned a lot about you today, and we are grateful that we got to hear your story. And it changed our lives. It really encouraged my husband, and I knew he was being encouraged. I knew he had something to say from behind that camera, and he was trying to keep his life together. But thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, that was the whole point. That's why I know it was God anyway, but the whole point is to, you know, to help God's people. I'm a servant at heart first, and so helping God's people in whatever way it can make their lives easier. Hey, if it helps them, then
Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank y'all for being on for Thankful Thursday. This is our second airing today. I gotta get used to this, huh? But thank y'all for being here, and we will